outside, and I got my favorite one today. So it's been a long time because it was very cold, but I just couldn't let you wait any longer to light one up. So yeah. I think you will have to get used to again that you have a little bit of ambient sounds like cars and people walking and other stuff, but it's a part of the experience, right? Today I will be talking about the rules for work and what I have learned in my let's say 15 years of work experience. So let me make sure that this one is good. And we can start. So I'm gonna list a few rules that if you apply them to your daily job, you will, in my own experience, have a good experience. These are just some basic rules that you probably know, but need a reminder, or you've never heard of, or didn't think it works like that. But let's begin with number one. I wrote here, never write things that you are not willing to defend when exposed, no matter to who you send it, a good colleague or whoever. So I've learned this rule because in this day and age we use things like Team and Zoom and other applications at work to communicate, or with email. In many cases, people have used certain things someone said against them and had those things as evidence because they have written it down, they have sent it via message, via Teams or email or whatever, which made it impossible for the other person to defend himself because, like, it's evidence. You can literally say it at that day, at that time. You said this, and you can literally not defend yourself. So, I don't care if it's your best friend you're working with. If you make jokes or have something to say that's inappropriate, do it live and don't write it down. That's just my opinion, and well, actually a fact if you don't want to get in trouble. Now, rule number 2 that I've written down is that HR is not your friend. They are not there to defend you. HR is not there to defend you, but to defend the company. For HR, the company is rule number 1. So my advice is to never complain about your higher ups. I mean, don't complain in general, but don't complain to HR about your higher ups unless it's something extreme. But in most cases, you will have to resolve it either with the boss or with your colleagues. You can complain about your colleagues to your boss, but never go to HR and say, my boss isn't working enough or the manager isn't doing his part. Never do that. You will only get branded as a problem maker, because if you were good enough to be the manager, you would be the manager. But for some reason, God knows what, that person became the manager. And trust me, if the manager is not doing his job well, they will find out with or without you complaining about them. So remember, HR is not your boss. You probably won't be able to resolve issues or problems with them. So unless they ask you to come and talk, don't do it. Then, so rule number 3. If something takes 5 minutes or less, do it immediately. Don't wait. If you get a certain task or a thing to do, and it takes 5 minutes or less, don't wait a couple of hours or till the end of the day. Do it immediately so you have that taken care of. For number 1, you lessen the degree for you to forget it. So, like if you delay something for 4 or 5 hours, that thing that cost like maybe 2 or 3 minutes to do, there's a chance that you forget that you will have to do. And imagine getting in trouble for something that's so simple. That's 1. 2 is, in my own experience, when I work, I always try to do everything in the shortest time frame, so I have the rest of the day either for myself or for more complicated tasks or whatever you can do in the spare time. And yeah, that's basically it. If it's something that you can do between 1 and 5 minutes, just do it. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Nice. Then, the 4th rule is, and remember this good, your boss is not your career manager. Don't depend on him for your own growth. A lot of times, I know it because I have a group of people that I manage also. And a lot of the times they think that I will make them grow. I will find other jobs for them and basically help them career-wise. I can give them the time and the opportunity to do it, but I cannot go and contact other groups of people or managers within the company and say, hey, I've got this guy and he has a lot of potential. If you have the inspiration and the will to grow, you will have to do it yourself. You will have to study for yourself. You will have to go to your manager and ask him for yourself, hey, is there a budget? Is there money for me to study this or a certain certificate or develop myself? Can I go to the other team to see if I can help them? First of all, it makes you proactive, and most of the managers like that. Second of all, they see that you are willing to grow and help the company with your growth. And third of all, your manager probably lives in his own world and has better things to do than to be your mentor or something. So remember, your boss is not your career manager. Another point is, when asking for help, show the person what you have tried first instead of only asking, how do I fix this problem? So, for example, there are not a lot of things I hate, but when someone of my team comes to me and says, hey, this doesn't work, how do I fix it? The first thing that comes to my mind is, what have you tried? What did you do to resolve the problem? The point is to not let the other person ask that question. It comes over very amateur. So, I mean, deep down inside, if you think about it, I think you want exactly the same thing. If someone comes to you with a problem, you would want to know what has he tried, because that means that you won't have to try the same things because the other person already did it. So when you have a problem and you go to a colleague or a higher up, you don't say, hey, this doesn't work, help me fix it. You go and say, hey, I have a problem. I have tried this and that and nothing works. Is there maybe a possibility that you can help me resolving this problem? That's basically it. It's very simple, but it's those small things that can make you more social and make people like you more instead of dislike you. There is another point, and that is, if you ask yourself the question, if you like your job, I mean, if the question comes up, then you already know the answer. Once you know that you don't love your job, do everything you can to find something else. Because a person that loves his job, there are not many of us that do, but I mean, all of us have something they don't like about their job, but trust me, a lot of people extremely dislike their job in a way that they cannot sleep good, or on Sundays because they dread the Monday or the next day because they know they will have to do the same thing they dislike for a couple of hours again the following day. So, a person that loves his job or is satisfied with his job doesn't ask the question if he does or doesn't the job, because that question just doesn't come up unless someone else asks it. The next point is, negotiating your salary has nothing to do with your diplomas. Oftentimes, when I talk to people or work them in, or they try to talk about their salary, I say, they are stunned, like, I have more diplomas or more experience, but the other colleague gets more money. How is that even possible? Then I say, it has nothing to do with your experience or diplomas. It has to do with your negotiating skills and the need for workers. For example, if the company is like 20 people that want to come and work there, they will go and find the one person that has the most experience and takes the least amount of salary. If a company needs 20 people, so in the first case they will usually pay less for a good worker. And it also comes down to his or her negotiating skills. In the second case, for example, a company needs 20 people, but only 10 people come and apply for a job. They will try to pay the highest amount just to get the person there because there's so much work. And they just look at the fact if the person is like, if he has the minimal skills to just do the job. So remember, negotiating your salary has nothing to do with your diplomas or work experience. You just have to have a little bit of luck, and also you just have to know your worth. So if you want a salary of, 4,000 euros or dollars, and they say, we'll give you 3.5, just say, I'm sorry, but at my previous job I got more, or I just can't do it for that money. And they will renegotiate most of the times. Don't settle for the first amount they tell you. Now, another point is, don't get emotional when being confronted or confronting someone else. Oftentimes, I have colleagues or workers or people coming to me and getting emotional when being confronted or confronting someone else. You just have to stay stoic, and it doesn't matter how high you get in your emotion. Just remember that you just have to be stoic and talk about what the problem is and not the feeling you get because of the person. And remember, don't attack the person, attack the problem. That will make you more professional and they'll just make you a finer person, because nobody likes complainers. Now, if you work less than, let's say, 3 or 4 times a week, try not to work on Mondays, because most holidays are on the Monday, most national holidays, but also they tend to be the busiest days. Now, of course, it depends where you work. If you work in a restaurant or a bar or whatever, of course the weekends are the busiest. But if you work a corporate job or in IT or whatever, most problems tend to occur on the Mondays, and Mondays are the busiest days. People are more grumpy also because they just had the weekend and now they have to wake up early. So try to not work on Mondays if you work 3 or 4 times a day. In a week, sorry. My next point is, don't give your 100%. Give them your 75 to 80% because it gives you a little bit of leeway. Let's say if a project comes and they need someone, if you give your 100%, working every day 100% to the max, and something else gets added, well, it's hard to give it your 120% because you only have 100% to give. So just try to work the amount you need. And with that comes the next point, and that's don't say yes to everything and don't be the first to raise your hand for a project or a task. Well, the birds have waken up, so I will have to cut the video a bit short. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day, and thank you for watching. Through this way, I would like to thank Phil, Dominic Vane, Rob, Denise, and Antox for supporting me on my Buy Me a Coffee page. If you like the content and want to support the channel, you can do it through buymeacoffee.com/myown drink.